affiliates among whom he counts Hadi would be targeted, as opposed to southern Yemen and its citizens. 174. President Hadi declared Aden to be Yemen's temporary capital while Sana'a remained under Houthi control. 175. 176. Also, the same day as the mosque bombings, Al-Qaeda militants captured the provincial capital of Lahij, al-Houta district, after killing about 20 soldiers before being driven out several hours later. 177. Hadi reiterated in a speech on the 21st of March, 2015 that he was the legitimate President of Yemen and declared, "We will restore security to the country and hoist the flag of Yemen in Sana'a, instead of the Iranian flag." 178. He also declared Aden to be Yemen's economic and temporary capital due to the Houthi occupation of Sana'a, which he pledged would be retaken. 179. In Sana'a, the Houthi Revolutionary Committee appointed Major General Hussein Kharan as Yemen's new defense minister and placed him in overall command of the military offensive. 180. 181. Foreign involvement. Houthi allies. In April 2015, United States National Security Council spokeswoman Bernadette Meehan stated that, "It remains our assessment that Iran does not exert command and control over the Houthis in Yemen." 182. 183. The United States has regularly accused the Iranian government of arming and funding the Houthis. In an April 2015 interview with the PBS News show, then U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry accused Iran of attempting to destabilize Yemen. 184. While the Houthis and the Iranian government have denied any military affiliation. 185. Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei openly announced his spiritual support of movement in a personal meeting with the Houthi spokesperson Mohammed Abdul Salam in Tehran, in the midst of ongoing conflicts in Aden in 2019. 186. 187. Although there has been no direct intervention by the Iranian government, Yemeni civil war is widely regarded as part of the Iran-Saudi proxy conflict. F. The United States, Saudi Arabia, UAE and various Western commentators have accused various IRGC networks of assisting Houthis through arms supplies, military training, logistics, strategic coordination and media support. 188, 189, 190. Saudi Arabia views activities by the Quds forces and Hezbollah in neighboring Yemen as part of Iranian attempts to establish a satellite state in the country and trap them into a stalemate. 191, 192. Western commentators have argued that the Iranian policy in Yemen has been hinged on developing bases for ballistic missiles targeting GC countries, establishing naval dominance in the strategic Bab al-Mandeb Strait by advancing area denial capabilities and weapons trafficking, in addition to the intensification of Iranian cyber warfare. 188, 193. However, this characterization has been disputed by various analysts and academics, who assert that Houthis are independent of Iran. According to Professor Stephen Zooms, the majority of Houthi arms supplies primarily originate from the black market, and Houthis obtain most of their weaponry from non-Iranian sources. 194. On the 7th of August, 2018, IRGC Commander Nasser Shabani was quoted by the Fars news agency, the semi-official news agency of the Iranian government, as saying, "We, IRGC, told Yemenis, Houthi rebels, to strike 2 Saudi oil tankers, and they did it." 195, 196. The Wall Street Journal reported in March 2023 that Iranian government agreed to halt all military support to Houthis and abide by the UN arms embargo, a start of the Chinese-brokered Iran-Saudi rapprochement deal. G. The Eritrean government has also been accused of funneling Iranian material to the Houthis, 197, as well as offering medical care for injured Houthi fighters. 198. However, it has called the allegations groundless and said after the outbreak of open hostilities that it views the Yemeni crisis as an internal matter. 197. According to a secret United Nations document, North Korea had aided the Houthis by selling weapons. 8. 199. Yemeni government supporters. The Yemeni government meanwhile has enjoyed significant international backing from the United States and Persian Gulf monarchies. U.S. drone strikes were conducted regularly in Yemen during Hadi's presidency in Sana'a, usually targeting Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. 200. The United States was also a major supplier of weapons to the Yemeni government, although according to the Pentagon, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of that material has gone missing since it was delivered. 201. Saudi Arabia provided financial aid to Yemen until late 2014, when it suspended it amid the Houthis' takeover of Sana'a and increasing influence over the Yemeni government. 202. According to Amnesty International, the United Kingdom also supplied weaponry used by Saudi-led coalition to strike targets in Yemen. 203. Amnesty International also says that U.S.-based Raytheon company supplied a laser-guided bomb that killed 6 civilians on the 28th of June 2019. 204. In May 2019, State Secretary Mike Pompeo announced an emergency to push through $8.1 billion of arms sales to Gulf allies like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Jordan, citing Iranian activity in the Middle East. Despite widespread congressional opposition, an August 2020 report by the Office of Inspector General detailed that Pompeo complied with the legal prerequisites to do so. The report, however, also noted that the possible threat to the lives of the civilians caught in the crossfire was not assessed properly at the time of the emergency. The State Department was also accused in the report of violating the threshold of the Arms Export Control Act while approving arms sales to Gulf states. 205. Saudi-led intervention in Yemen. In response to rumors that Saudi Arabia could intervene in Yemen, Houthi commander Ali al-Shami boasted on the 24th of March, 2015 that his forces would invade the larger kingdom and not stop at Mecca, but rather Riyadh. 206. A pro-Saleh protest in Sana'a against the Saudi-led intervention, March 2016. The following evening, answering a request by Yemen's international recognized government, Saudi Arabia began a military intervention alongside 8 other Arab states and with the logistical support of the United States against the Houthis, bombing positions throughout Sana'a. In a joint statement, the nations of the Gulf Cooperation Council, with the exception of Oman, said they decided to intervene against the Houthis in Yemen at the request of Hadi's government. 207, 208, 209. King Salman of Saudi Arabia declared the Royal Saudi Air Force to be in full control of Yemeni airspace within hours of the operation beginning. 210. The airstrikes were aimed at hindering the Houthis' advance toward Hadi's stronghold in southern Yemen. 211. Al Jazeera reported that Mohammed Ali al-Houthi, a Houthi commander appointed in February as president of the Revolutionary Committee, was injured by an airstrike in Sana'a on the first night of the campaign. 212. After the launch of Operation Decisive Storm, Saudi Arabia along with UAE used lobbying in an attempt to rally the international community to their cause. 144. Reuters reported that planes from Egypt, Morocco, Jordan, Sudan, Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, Qatar and Bahrain had also taken part in the operation. 29. Saudi Arabia requested that Pakistan commit forces as well, but Pakistan's parliament officially voted to remain neutral. 213. However, Pakistan agreed to provide their support in line with the United Nations Security Council resolution, dispatching warships to enforce an arms embargo against the Houthis. 76. 214. On the 21st of April, 2015, the bombing campaign was officially declared over, with Saudi officials saying they would begin Operation Restoring Hope as a combination of political, diplomatic, and military efforts to end war. 215. Even still, airstrikes continued against Houthi targets, and fighting in Aden and Ad-Dali went on. 216. The United Arab Emirates claimed to take an active role against fighting ACAP and its YP presence in Yemen through a partnership with the United States. In an op-ed in the Washington Post, Youssef Al-Ataiba, the UAE ambassador to the United States, described that the intervention has reduced AQA presence in Yemen to its weakest point since 2012, with many areas previously under their control liberated. 217. The ambassador claimed that more than 2,000 militants have been removed from the battlefield, with their controlled areas now having improved security and a better delivered humanitarian and development assistance, such as to the port city of New Cala and other liberated areas. 217. An Associated Press investigation outlined that the military coalition in Yemen actively reduced ACAP in Yemen without military intervention, instead of by offering them deals and even actively recruiting them in the coalition because they are considered exceptional fighters. 218. UAE Brigadier General Musalam al-Rashidi responded to the accusations by stating that al-Qaeda cannot be reasoned with and cited that they killed many of his soldiers. 219. The UAE military stated that accusations of allowing ACAP to leave with cash contradict their primary objective of depriving ACAP of its financial strength. 220. The notion of the coalition recruiting or paying ACAP has been thoroughly denied by the United States Pentagon, with Colonel Robert Manning, spokesperson of the Pentagon, calling the news source patently false. 221. The governor of Hadramaut, Faraj al-Barzani, dismissed the accusations that al-Qaeda has joined with the coalition rank, explaining that if they did there would be sleeper cells and that he would be the first one to be killed. According to The Independent, ACAP activity on social media as well as the number of terror attacks conducted by them has decreased since the Emirati intervention. 220. On the 13th of July, 2020, the UK Ministry of Defence logged more than 500 Saudi air raids in possible breach of international law in Yemen. These figures were revealed a few days after the UK government decided to resume the arms sales to Saudi Arabia, which could be used in the Yemen war, just over a year after the Court of Appeal ruled them unlawful. It justified resuming the arms sales, stating that only isolated incidents without any pattern have occurred. 222. In March 2019, the United States Congress voted to end U.S. support to the Saudi war effort, winking sad smiley. 223. However, U.S. President Donald Trump vetoed it. 224. His successor, President Joe Biden, announced a freeze on arms sales to Saudi Arabia and the UAE in January 2021. 225. He also declared that he would end American support for the Saudi coalition. 226. On the 4th of February 2021, Biden announced an end to the U.S. support for Saudi-led operations in Yemen. 227. As of the 13th of April, 2021, arms sales to the UAE have not been stopped while sales to Saudi Arabia continued to be paused. 228. However, the details of the end of American involvement in the war have yet to be released. 229. In August 2020, confidential Saudi documents revealed the kingdom's strategy in Yemen. The 162 pages of classified Saudi documents dates back prior to 2015. The pages showed the kingdom's inaction in stopping Houthis from capturing Sana'a, despite Saudi intelligence reports. The record